Welcome back, everybody. This is another installment of To Talk to Painters that have crossed over and find out what they're painting on the other side. How are you this morning, Liz?
I am super excited when you put him on the screen. Thank you.
One of my favorite painters growing up, really the only painter that I knew as a kid, was Bob Ross. Used to watch him all the time on PBS. And now he's fallen into sort of this ASMR idea of listening to calm, pleasant things as you drift off to sleep and relax. So I wonder if we could bring in the consciousness of Bob Ross and talk to him about his life as a painter and his life on the other side.
He is so excited to be here as well. He just gave me a kiss on my cheek.
He was super exciting and super good and crossed over way too early from lymphoma. But what can he tell us? What brought him to painting and what brought him to, trying to teach that art to so many people?
He just loved to paint. It just came so natural to him. And it was like his soul. It was the soul that was painting, not him, he says. And he wanted everybody to have something that their soul could love.
Was he channeling when he did that?
Sometimes he would close his eyes and he would just start painting whatever came to him at that moment.
Who was he inspired by? What artists did he really enjoy growing up?
He was mostly inspired by his art teachers, as a matter of fact. He's saying that they just allowed him. See, I feel school was a bit of a struggle for him, but his art teachers, or the creative side of learning, they let him freestyle it. And that's where he grew the most. They saw that he had a talent there. They allowed him to paint and draw in class. They allowed him to check out mentally. You see, this is the difference between then and now. Then the teachers would recognize what you were good at, and the school system would push you in that direction and really help you capitalize on those strengths that you had. Now it's all uniform. Everybody has to meet this standard, that standard, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and so now you're starting to not have artists like Bob Ross because they're not being geared or promoted or encouraged to go with the gifts that God gave to them.
One of the most fascinating things about watching him work is that you got to hear his creative juices in each episode, and you got to understand what he was thinking and how he added things. And this push towards artificial intelligence artistry, I wanted to get his take on what he sees that and what does that mean.
Oh, well, he's telling me if everybody relies on AI for their visual pleasure, then you're not going to be connecting with artwork out of an emotional, being drawn towards that artwork. If the artwork is devoid of emotion, it's not really going to appeal to people on a deep emotional level, he's telling me. So it's important to retain this humanity, this human emotion into the artwork. And that's something AI will never be able to replace.
How does he feel personally about this infiltration of AI artwork?
There's going to be a lot of sad children, he says. And I'm saying, why would you say that? Because art, music, creativity often pulls people out of depressed and sad emotions, states, and that they will not have anything to pour their heart and soul in order to make themselves express how they're feeling and feel better. He says, you're taking all of that away from the human existence. Humans need to be creative, he says. There's a need for it. And we connect with each other through creativity. We like music. We like art. We like sculpting. We like dancing. That's how we all connect. And those things are limitless. But now we're going to be expected to connect to just colors that don't represent human emotion. It's just I understand what he's saying. Just we're not going to be connecting emotionally in that way. It's very sad.
Was he spiritual? Did he have any religious ties? I don't know when during his life, but was he a religious guy in life?
Extremely religious.
And how did his religion change when he crossed over? What did he learn about it?
It didn't so much change, it just transformed. And that the human idea of religion is nothing what it seems up there. And even though I'm saying, but you guys, when you give me holograms and you show me like you're painting or you're playing golf or you're doing what you love. And that's just to appease the emotions of the humans on the earth plane. The reality is there's no painting up there.
What's he doing? What's he focusing his time on the last 28 years?
Spiritual development.
How so?
Learning, making contracts, learning what needs to be completed to finish the cycle, the reincarnation cycle, how he can structure, here we go again, how he can structure that into his future lifetimes. He wants to come back as a painter. He loves it. He misses it. He misses being here on the earth plane. You see, this is the problem, okay? The problem is everybody on the earth plane, yeah, it's a struggle. I get it. But the more we report from what's going on in the spirit world, the more you have to see the beauty here on earth. You can hug and hold your children. You can pet your dog, right? You can show people how much you love them. You have the ability to paint, to make music. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Who cares? You have the ability to be creative. And you have all these tools at your disposal. You don't have that in the spirit world. You don't even have arms to paint with, or hands, or feet, or lips to kiss someone. People do not understand that about the earth plane, and what a privilege it is to be here. You have to look past all of the bad stuff and see it for what it is. Because people think that when we go into the spirit world, everything, that's it. All of our prayers are answered. Okay, yeah, your prayers are answered because you don't need anything anymore, right? You don't need a car. You don't need a house. You don't need help for your kids that may be on drugs, whatever. You don't need anything. Why? Because you're not in the body. Who cares? And it's just, people don't understand how beautiful life is. They just don't. Bob Marley, and I said this last week to one of my CTT warriors. If you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on earth. Because he says before that, preacher man, don't tell me that, a great God is going to come from the sky and make everything all right. Something to that effect, right? Even Bob Marley got it, guys. He did. He knew that life on earth is what is beautiful, and you have to, it's your job, it's all of our jobs to find the beauty in that. And this is exactly what Bob Ross is telling us today. He wants to be here. Why? So he can hold a paintbrush, so he can paint and create things that are beautiful for humans to connect with. We're getting it all wrong. The angels playing trumpets and all that, guy, if you believe that, if you want to, that's fine. But for those of us that are reporting back from the earth plane, he's telling me it's just not happening. It just is. That's all it is. It's a state of being. It's an is.
Those people out there that might be struggling, what is the suggestion that Bob Ross can give to them to help them find their inner bliss?
Get creative. Whatever your struggles are, you need to get creative and pour those struggles into your work that you're creating. That's a form of processing. It's a form of transcending those struggles. That's how you have to do it. You can't hide those struggles away, right? Because they never go away. They're always there. Just because you choose to ignore them doesn't mean that they're gone. But it's about tapping into the struggles and creating something.
Wow. I'm amazed at Bob Ross, and I hope that he allowed everyone listening to embrace their own creativity and find what really brings them joy in life.
I wish we could get our hands on one of his paintings. You were telling me that the family, you believe, doesn't allow his paintings out in circulation, therefore they're quite valuable.
Yeah, how does he feel about that?
How do you feel about that? They know what they're doing. They know that it's almost like he financially secured them for generations to come. So the longer they hold on to the paintings, the more valuable they become. And in 200-300 years, like all of those other painters that we like to tap into, these things will be worth millions. So they know what they're doing. And he's glad. He's glad for them because obviously, ultimately, he wanted to take care of his family. So there you go, folks. If
will
you
he
can
be
find
incarnating
one
again in the future as a painter inside his family, or is he going to go into another soul group?
With his family, he loves his family. So he will actually benefit in his future lifetime from his work that he did in this past lifetime or this most recent lifetime. Financially, he will benefit from that. So if you guys can get your hands on a Bob Ross painting, there you go. And you may not see it in your lifetime, but certainly in your future lifetime, if you do reincarnate with the same soul family, it's going to be worth millions and millions.
That's the trick. Bob Ross creating legacy wealth for himself centuries ahead. Yeah. Thank you so much, Bob. And thank you, Liz. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this was great. I'm sure everybody will love it. Thank you.